Hello and welcome to our very latest Yarndale Make Along with Emma. Back to more making along rather than the tutorials that we did in Talking Socks. Hope you've enjoyed the Talking Socks, and if you've started knitting socks for the first time, well, I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you've got some warm toes, or certainly some warm toes to look forward to in the winter. Today we've got a really simple pattern we've put on the website. A teeny tiny colourful cloth. So this is another cloth that you could use as part of our worldwide creative project. I say it's teeny tiny because it's only 15 centimetres square. You could make it bigger by doing more stitches, but it's a simple pattern that starts with just chaining 33. I've got 3.5mm hook and an assortment of leftover bits and pieces of cotton. Now some of this is King Cole Cotton Soft, some of it is Stylecraft, some of it is Rico cotton. It's all double knit, it's all DK, so you'd use a 3.5 or a 4mm hook. If I use a 3mm, it's a little bit tighter. This cotton cloth that I've actually blocked it, so the stitches are a little bit spread out, just to even it up a little bit, but it's not necessary really. So the pattern starts with chaining 3, and it's a simple. I say it's a simple cloth because it's a linen stitch. And a linen stitch, if you've not done it before, is very simple because it's basically a double crochet in UK terms. That is, it's double crochet and chain repeat, and that's all you do. You just need to make sure on each row that you have the same number of stitches, but I'll explain to you how to do that, and hopefully the pattern explains it as well. So we start with just chaining 33. Whoops. And when you've done 33, just pull the last stitch, the last chain all the way through like that and pull it tight. Okay, the other thing about this cloth is I've worked it all on the right side, so I haven't turned my cloth each time. I mean, it looks the same each side, but that way it's easy to see whether you're starting with 2 stitches or ending with 2 stitches, which alternate between the rows, but I'll explain when we get there. So we've got our 33 chain. I am then going to put my hook just inside that first chain. Now the chain, if you look at it, has got 3, it's got 3 different parts of the yarn. So you're going underneath 2 of them. Just try and keep, it doesn't matter if you go under 2 or under 1, but try and keep it the same across, and then your first row will look the same. Now I'm using up little bits of cotton, so I'm just going with whatever I feel like, making it nice and colourful and cheerful. I've started with red, and I will border it with red. I'm going to go for this nice corally colour next. Okay, so to join it, make a loop and pull your loop through that chain. The first row is always the trickiest, whether you're knitting or crocheting. You just have to fiddle with it a little bit and make a chain. Now the pattern says that you chain 2, so that first where you've joined it, that first chain, that counts as 1 chain. Okay, 2 chains. Okay, now we're going to miss the next chain, and we're going to double crochet into the chain that is next along. Okay, and then we chain 1. We miss the chain, we double crochet into it. Chain, miss that chain, double crochet into that one. Double crochet, chain, miss that one, double crochet, chain, miss that one, double crochet, all the way to the end of the row, and that's your first row done. So I hope everyone's keeping all right and starting to maybe start to see some friends again. Don't know if anybody's been to any knit and natters. I certainly haven't been to anything other than virtual. So we've done one there. I'm talking now and I've lost track. Okay, so we're doing that one. So double crochet in there. I've had 2 jabs now, so that makes me feel perhaps a little bit more relaxed, but certainly no less careful. Do my chain. I always find that the first row of knitting or crochet is the one where you just have to concentrate, and here I am yabbering away to you. And I should just be concentrating. But I think I'm still going. Okay, so I'm going all the way along. I'm missing a chain. Double crochet. Miss that one. Almost at the end. Chain right now, because this is my first row. In my last, it says in the pattern, last one you do 2 double crochets in the end. So in that last chain we do 2, so no chain in between, just 2 double crochets, and then we're going to fasten off. So pull it through and cut it off like that. Okay, so we're going to work on the right side. So these are my first 2 rows started. So I'll put my coral back there, and I think I'm going to go for this nice green next. Nice green. Reminding me of all the new green things growing in my garden. Okay, so in the pattern, this is called row 2. Okay, and at the beginning of each row, you want to join into the first chain of that first 2 chains at the beginning of your row. So we join exactly the same as we did before, and that counts as your first chain. So each row, whether it's whichever row it is, always starts with 2 chains. So you start with your 2 chains there. Now, because we ended with 2 double crochets there, we're going to start with 2 at the beginning here. So this double crochet here is going to go into the space, so we're just working in the spaces in between, so it's underneath the chains. So that's 1, and then we chain, we work into the space, and that's all linen stitch is. And the only thing that you've got to really keep an eye on with doing your linen stitch is making sure that you've got the same number. If you're making something square like this dishcloth, which we want it to be square, is making sure you've got the same number of stitches each row. But it's a really lovely way just to play with colours. So I started with a chain of 33 for this one. If you wanted to make a bigger cloth, so if you wanted to make a cloth that was 20 centimetres square, which is perhaps a little bit more usual for a cloth, you'd go for about 45 stitches to start with. You can start with any size you want. The thing I like about this is because it's a teeny tiny one, you can just play with your colours and your little bits of leftovers, and very quickly you've got a colourful cloth. Makes cleaning and wiping all the more fun. Okay, so we got to the end of this row here, and in the row before we had 2 stitches together at the end, if you remember. So the last double crochet of this row goes in between those 2 stitches. Okay, and then pull through to fasten off. Pull through like that. Okay, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I've got 18 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 stitches. So I've got 18 going across. Okay. It doesn't matter if you've got 19 or if you've got 17, as long as each row has the same. So we're sticking on the same side. We join at the beginning here, and I think I'm going to go turquoisey next. Ooh, doesn't this colour just remind you of summer and the sea, the sky? So we start with joining chain. That's your first chain. Remember, each row starts with 2 chains. Okay. Now, this time we're going to go, we're going to go all the way. I'm not going to go in between these first 2 stitches. We're going to join after the first 2. So in that space there. And that way we'll end up with the same number of stitches. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, chain, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a little bit fiddly, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And this row, because we finished with 1 stitch at the end of the last row, this row we finished with 2, and that gives us our 18 stitches. And we fasten up like that. Okay, and that's the beginning of your teeny tiny colourful cloth. Now you repeat those 2 rows, either starting with 2 or ending with 2 on your rows. You repeat it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I've got 25 rows there, and then I've got a border around the outside. Now my border around the outside, I've just done a double crochet going all the way around. So if it's the top, I've done it in between, and down the sides I've just done it in each row has got 1 double crochet. Okay, now I think before some of you have asked about how we sew in our ends. So this is another one that I started, and I've left some of my ends just loose. So I thought I'd just show you how I sew my ends in. Now lots of people crochet over their ends, and that's absolutely fine. But I think because I'm not a tight crocheter, my ends always wriggle out, and I always end up with little furry bits on my crochet, and I just don't like that. I much prefer using a darning needle and weaving my ends in and out. Now, you want to try and hide the same colour, well, the thread within the same colour, because then it'll be more hidden. Literally just sew in and out of those stitches. So I like to go away from the edge, so towards my middle, and I go probably about 5 or 6 centimetres. Threading it in and out, and then when I've gone about 5 or 6 centimetres, I give a little bit of a tuck. Then I turn back and go the other way, making sure I don't go back in exactly the same place where I just came out. And it's weaving in and out. And I'm going to go all the way so that my thread comes out on the edge like this, and then I'm going to cut it, and that way any little furry bit is right on the edge. And if we put a border on, you don't have to put a border on these cloths, but if we put a border, it's going to be hidden in that border, so it won't be seen. So yes, it takes a little bit of time, but I think you spent all that time creating something beautiful. It's worth finishing it off beautifully as well. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy your just colourful, teeny tiny colourful cloth play, because I've certainly enjoyed playing with the colours. I think I've got red as a bit of a theme going through mine. Red. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it, red? Anyhow, happy crocheting and happy teeny tiny colourful cloth making. Bye for now.